Okay, guys, are audiophile brick and mortar dealers extinct? Well, not in Ottawa, Canada, where I just came from, and I'm still trying to warm up from. I visited Bliss Acoustics there, and it was a phenomenal visit. That's what I'm going to feature for you today, so stay tuned. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, I do a variety of stuff on this channel, from show reports, stuff on my home system, things at other people's homes, as well as go to dealers around the country in various cities, wherever I visit, or do special trips to various dealers. And that's what this one is today. A dealer in Ottawa, Canada invited me to a function they were having with Nagra and some other vendors, and asked me to come out there and film it and enjoy the event. And I can do that on certain cases whenever I have time, which is not often. So you have to ask me well in advance if you want to plan that. And then I do not charge. I don't charge anybody for my time and the videos. I know some people do that. More power to them. I just don't have to do that. So I don't do that, other than if it's a long way and I have to travel, those kind of things. As long as you offset my travel costs, so I'm at least not in the negative, then I'll be happy to do it. But you have to plan it way in advance with me and, take care of those kind of things. Because really my purpose is, if I'm in the town already, this is what I used to do as an audiophile before I had a channel. I would go to wherever I was on vacation and check out the audiophile dealers. And what is the value of that? Sometimes you may be just window shopping at the time, but a lot of times when I did that, I started being exposed to brands that weren't existing in my hometown, which most of my audiophile career, my hometown was New Orleans, which had very few brands I was exposed to. So getting exposure to all these brands, and also to the people behind the brand, their experiences, their acumen, and their thoughts and philosophies. It's not about saying that this person is right, this person is wrong, but the more you get exposure to different philosophies, the more you're able to discern the ones that are full of crap and the people that know what they're doing. And then even among the people that know what they're doing, you may have different taste profiles or philosophies that you espouse. And that's kind of what I've been doing with the different dealerships I've been featuring. I have a good feeling for the people behind the brand, and then they have different philosophies and brands that they represent, and some may resonate with you, some may not. Even within the existing dealer, some brands may resonate with you, some may not. And Bliss Acoustic is a perfect example of what I like to feature, because they have a wide variety of taste profiles. And what you're going to see as I walk through their dealership, not only in brands, but also their listening rooms. You'll see some listening rooms with extensive treatments from RD Acoustics, a brand that you saw me pretty much feature exclusively at Expona, and probably going to be putting that in my Airbnb or my main room here at some point as one of my room treatments. But also they have rooms with no treatments and pure glass wall on one side, drywall on the other, to showcase different listening rooms as well as different equipment. You'll see Devore speakers in the same room with Audionec, open baffles, two totally diametrically different type speakers, but gives you a chance to hear gear in different type environments, different type of styles and philosophies and topologies, different types of electronics. And one of their best brands that they have is one that I think is one of the best out there, Nagra. And not only is Nagra as a brand been impeccable in terms of their pedigree in the industry, pro audio, then for audiophiles as well, they're one that crossed that over at the top level of each. They still support products that are well over 50 years old. And then probably one of the most impressive things about Nagra is the people. Number one, Renee, who you always see at shows. You've seen him in my videos. Any video, pretty much I've had Nagra gear, he's been at the shows. And what impresses me about him is he's not only, in fact, he's not one of these super polished presentation type guys. Those are great, and there's a place for them. I enjoy those presentations. But the difference between Renee and those guys is that he's actually in the weeds. He's actually doing recording. He's a recording engineer, and he's doing recordings, and you're going to hear some of those recordings today because I'm going to put a couple things in this video. I'm going to do my walkthrough. I'll put that in a chapter if you're interested in that. I'll have some music clips for you. And then I also have, because I don't have enough time to break up all these videos, this could be a little long video, but don't miss the section where I'm featuring a brand that was new to me. It's Ictra, I-C-T-R-A. This is a vibration control product made by a couple. They're both physicists. The husband and wife got to meet them at this event. And this is, again, why I go to these shows, to get exposed to a brand I heard nothing about, get the presentation. Obviously, I'm recording it on a cell phone. It's loud in there. You may not be able to hear everything. But the takeaway is this is a sophisticated vibration control product doing some very innovative things. Not cheap, but I enjoyed listening to the presentation and the way that they specifically design things per the purpose is really the difference for me in people just having a blanket product they say works on everything versus a truly sophisticated vibration control product, which to that end, I still have more to get to you from my Zoom with Norman Varney, but these are the people that go to the nth degree to do vibration control right. Not just put gear on a bunch of springs that forever, ring and call that universal vibration control. There's a big difference in that realm. And I think if you want to start learning a little bit of the difference in how a true physicist tackles vibration control versus just audiophile snake oil type stuff or, less than honest basis in science, this is one of those presentations you're going to enjoy. So enjoy this whole view of Bliss Acoustics. Hope to be back in the near future, and I'll see you back here soon. Okay, guys, I'm at Bliss Acoustics today for an event right after Thanksgiving. They invited me a while back. Happy to come up here. I've never been to Ottawa and never been to this dealer, which immediately you're greeted by cool stuff. Audionec, a very innovative open baffle style speaker. If you want to learn more about it, I have plenty of videos. Just look up Audionec. But I think I've never seen this model. I think he says this is the only one like this that they have. The smallest model. Magico, Devore, these are speakers that, these are going to be great to see this kind of contrast. Similar size, but totally different type design philosophies. And this is what I like to see at a dealer, giving you both varieties because, as I mentioned in my review of the Potpourri Vitorlas, every speaker, regardless of cost, is going to be a set of compromises, trade-offs, and how they navigate it. Wide baffle, traditional box type speaker, ported, has its own set of trade-offs. But the Devore guy, he does a great job of managing those and creating a super listenable, enjoyable speaker, well-made, good-looking. So if it's your style of speaker, it may not image the same way with a wide baffle compared to an open baffle like this, but paper drivers here, the flavor gives you this contrast. You can compare the two at a dealer, and that's what you really want to do because it's like going to a restaurant. Some people may want spaghetti, some people may want pizza, some people may want a steak. And then you've got impeccable gear. CS Port you've seen many times. When I visited Chris in Dallas at Euphoria, CS Port, linear tracking, tone arm, and then this is a prototype from Nagra. Should be in a YouTube short I released. Renee telling us about that. It's not even released yet, so it's a world exclusive. And then their DAC. And then I'm going to have more on this platform, their racks. Let's go see the rest of it. The event is just kicked off, and you'll see some people that you may recognize. Renee, okay, excuse me, and what a spread we have here. Just got finished with Thanksgiving. This is the last thing I needed to see, but
I was going to take some food.
So Audionec, here's their bigger speakers. And what I love about Audionec, like I've talked about with Vitorla and a few other brands, you don't have to sell your old model to upgrade. It's modular. So you can actually add on modules to upgrade your speaker without having to deal with resale value, shipping, and whatnot. Really impressed with them. And then the Nagra reference setup, we're going to go through all of this in a walkthrough with Renee. He is one of the best guys, both, yeah, technically he's in marketing, but he's a recording engineer. That's what I love to see, somebody actually making recordings, knows the business inside and out, from actual recording all the way to selling the gear. It's a much more sophisticated model to have somebody with that pedigree doing your sales. Oh, this is actually a great album, a must album. If you have wonderful sounds of male vocals, the Weavers playing. I mean, we're probably close to $1 million setup here. And then the RD Acoustics room treatment, which I almost got from my Airbnb. It's just a little too much to ship, but I'll have it at some point in one of my rooms. It's like a big Griffin amp here, but I'll show you downstairs. Oh, and I'm going to show you more about this. Hopefully I have an interview. The gentleman that makes these, let me put on the light for you. It's a very innovative equipment rack. The ball bearings. Name of the brand is. So let's go downstairs. It's a very cool dealer. I'd like to see these ones that are kind of retrofitting a home to a dealership. Kind of what I'm doing with my Airbnb, because the reality of it is probably less than 5% of audiophiles have a truly dedicated room. Probably less than 1% a room that's 100% created from scratch. So it makes no sense to cater to just the 1% or 0.1%. Here's really cool esoteric gear. I'm very impressed with esoteric over the years. And then talking to Carlo LaRosa, who visited them, even more higher intuition. And some Griffin speakers. Cool. Might have seen this in my YouTube short. I'll give you a deeper dive. That's another RD Acoustics panel. And I'm going to be spending hopefully more time with Goldman in the near future. Nick, formerly with TMR, is now working with the distributor that has Goldman and wants me to check it out. As well as Audio Solutions, which this is a brand in their first iteration, kind of made they're from Lithuania. They kind of made a splash by giving you quite a big speaker. And I remember, in fact, my friend Pepe bought it. It was like almost coffin size, and it was much less expensive than you would think. And he enjoyed it until a hurricane destroyed the speaker. But performance-wise, it still has a few compromises, but now he's come back out with even more modern styling. I love the looks now. Cabinet construction, more modern. Everything about it is, and he even changed the logo, I think. It's a very impressive speaker. I saw a cool, here's another one, a bigger version that I haven't seen yet. So this is a brand to be on the lookout for, Audio Solutions. I wouldn't say it's making a comeback, but it's definitely redesigned. And these are Goldman speakers, and yeah, these will automate moving like that. Beautiful. And they come on stands, active, just plug them in, and a cable cooker. I featured this on the YouTube short, in case you didn't see it though. Order your cables cooked however you like it. I prefer mine medium rare. Like my steaks. I didn't recognize these at first because I've never seen this double grill, but these are Revel speakers and a little more noticeable once you take off the magnetic grill, but very nice. Comes with outriggers. And then there's some Moonbriar gear. Let me put on the light for you here. Moon River, I'm sorry. Then MSB, what do we got here? R-Ender. Oh, yeah, it's been making a splash. And the Griffin piece. And then over here, you've got Chroma, which you've seen make a splash as well recently. Purified drivers. This has been featured in my tour of Euphoria Audio, and they've been at shows doing quite well with their rooms. This is the interesting port up here. So yeah, they've been impressing. J. Sakura, Audionec, and then this is a brand here that's really caught my eye just from the aesthetics alone, but it looks much more expensive than it is. This little Aston Martin green is really cool, the dials. I think that's only 35 watts, but you're telling me it sounds much more powerful. And then again, very cool room treatments. So that gives you an overall tour. And again, if you're in Ottawa or even within driving distance in Canada, this would be a must-see place. I'm gonna go back upstairs and mingle for the event, and I'll have some formal presentations that Renee and others are giving today. Stay tuned.
Microphone is brand new. Dragon received 2 days ago. We plugged it yesterday because there's a lot of things to plug.
Okay.
Usually after 100 hours, it's close to the night and day, and we have
Okay.
10 hours.
What are we talking about price-wise for the Nagra gear here?
Yeah, in US dollar, it is, I don't have the exact price.
Yeah, we don't have to get exact, but
So the HD follow is about 95 if I remember correctly. The same price for the reference DAC and for the reference preamp. When you have 2 chassis, it's about 104, let's say 100. And you add about $30,000 when you have the optional power supply.
power supplies, okay.
I need to check the price, but it's around that. And the amp, it's if I remember correctly, it's something like 140.
Okay.
It was, as I said before, you know, high-end audio try to be expensive. We really try to be as low as we can. I understand customers that don't understand the price, but you know, we take so many hours to do, like the preamp or the DAC.
Right.
We start maybe 3 years ago to update the HD. That did take 5 years to do the R&D, and after that, you have all the parts that are really expensive inside. So we use suspension, so the tube have less vibration inside, but the capacitor are also sensitive to vibration. So we use also for power supply. It's a bit like the VFS that we use on the classic line, but at least 5 times better because we have phenolic and we have sarbatam. On the amp we have copper with phenolic. Depending of the weight of the unit, we change the solution to have. It's not about moving; it's really about isolation from the stand.
From the stand itself, yeah. And of course, this has phenomenal vibration control.
Yeah, for sure.
When the cartridge is on it, you can do that, and it doesn't skip. I've shown this a few times. So we're playing right now. He's pushing it down. Look at that. Listen to the music. Not even skipping a beat. That's amazing. And how much is the turntable now?
It's 200, about 200.
Okay. But it's in that ballpark where it competes with anything, out there.
Yeah, but we have customers that when they got that turntable, they realize our master sound, because the sound is so much bigger than another turntable. Let's say you play album that original recording was on the MPEX of the 60s. You really feel the machine. If it was recorded on a Nagra 4S, you feel another texture. It's really different. What I don't like about some turntable, it really sounds like the turntable. Like everything you put is the signature of the turntable.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right about that. Yeah, especially some of those high mass ones and stuff. Yeah, interesting. What cartridge are you using here?
You need to ask Dragan. It's a low impedance cartridge.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it, but I'm not an expert on some of those. But
we have the Nagra on
the Nagra on that one, yeah.
But it's incredible about the HD phono. You have 26 dB of transformer gain.
Okay.
So it sounds lower is the impedance of the cartridge, better is the sound, because you have a frequency response from, with that cartridge it would be about 15 hertz to 80,000 hertz. With one ohm cartridge it can be as low as 10,
oh really?
100, because the transformer have changed the response if the source impedance is very low. Okay. So again, all the customers that try many different things, when they try a very low impedance cartridge, they freak out about the sound. And it's good to know also that most phono stage are not really built for a low impedance cartridge. I tried in the other room many different setup, and I will say that a standard impedance for a regular phono stage might be 5. Like you need to go 4, 5 minimum, 6, 7 maybe better for many phono stage. Because if you don't have signal, the phono stage is not able to deal with it. Okay. With 26 dB of passive gain, for sure you can deal with any low cartridge, very low cartridge.
Interesting. Okay. Again, it's more than just cool looks or just isolation alone. Like it says, having a cartridge in a phono stage that can.
As you know, we for Switzerland for 70th anniversary, but we did like the back of a watch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So.
Swiss made, yeah. It's like a Rolex.
For sure. I think people that like high-end audio, they kind of like also the design. It's nice to. We work on the sound for sure, but it's nice to have a product that have a nice design at the same time. So.
Yeah. No, this is a brand that is true high-end. Yeah, it's not going to be for everybody's budget, but for people that can afford it, you've got the pedigree. Y'all been in business since how long?
Again?
Nagra, yeah.
Oh, no, it's 75 years.
75 years. So, yeah, that predates most people's birth date. And the hobby itself really wasn't even that big 75 years ago. So, y'all were way before that.
But the thing also, many people know that let's say a Nagra 4S from 1972, you
Still-
buy it on eBay.
I know, you still will support it.
Yeah, no, yes, but you plug it and you do play and you work.
It usually still works,
So,
yeah.
and also the value, let's say a Nagra 4S in bad shape, it's about $10,000.
Yep.
It's for me, it's about the same. If you buy something that is really good, really great, the value will stay forever. Like it's not something you will throw away.
Right. Like a Rolex watch, it'll maintain more of the value. So Nagra has a long history in the industry. And yeah, I wouldn't buy it for investment purposes, but you're going to retain more of your value, especially their tape deck. And that's the one I have my eye on, was the 4S. We'll listen to some more.
It's two M50 from the 60s. The Newman M50
Okay.
from the 60s.
Okay.
It's an incredible microphone for orchestra.
Okay. Very good. What goes into, so for people may not know, what goes into miking an event like this?
Like today, with Atmos, usually they put 48 microphones.
48? Okay.
Yes, this is my recording, so it was 6 microphones.
6, okay.
So I put together the M50 with some modern small diaphragm metal from Josephson together. So I have a mixture of the very focused sound of the M50 because there's a ball. The ball do a bit like this to the orchestra.
Really?
So you pick up the back of the orchestra, the percussion, the small instrument, the flute and everything with that ball. But it is a bit more bright than a regular microphone because there's like 2 or 3 dB boost at 2,000 to 10,000. So I put a second microphone matched together that is very flat, like a measurement microphone.
Okay.
That is very warm. So together they do, they don't lose the impact because there's no comb filter, there's no out of phase. But at the same time you get a bit of the same, what I mean, it's very tough to, in one microphone, to have all the quality. If I put only the modern microphone, it will have no presence. Everything is sound far away. And I have the other microphone I have, it's a pair of still Newman from the 60s on woodwind.
Oh, really?
More close to the back of the orchestra.
Okay.
Also, what I like about it, it's because usually if you want to be a bit more large, you need to focus a bit the center of the orchestra.
Okay.
Because it will sound a bit left and right. but if you don't put large microphone, it will sound kind of boxy for a large orchestra to be too close together. So after that, I have two other microphones that I use only for specific track, like there's arps and Stella.
Yeah.
Because on John Williams there's a lot of those kind of things, but on that track there was none of those microphones. So those are shops that are so beautiful on harps. So yeah, I try to have as minimum possible microphone.
And it creates a wide sound stage, lots of depth, and these speakers in the gear makes it disappear very well. But yeah, when you use multiple mics, you talked about comb filtering. Sometimes people put them too close to each other, too similar. It's an art form in a way, isn't it?
But the thing, for the percussion, let's say you do a recording at Abbey Road with 3.5 second reverb, and you have a lot of microphone for the string, you hear the timpani and all the drum and everything on all the mic. At the end, it's a mess for the percussion. So usually you will have to record separately. You can record the string, you can record the woodwind maybe, but you cannot record the percussion at the same time. At the same time, when you do that, it's kind of a fake recording. So it's nice to have the real reverb of all the musicians together. Happening. So that was recorded in DXD, so it's 352 in PCM, 24-bit. On the reference DAC, we have 72 bits processing at 11.2 megahertz. So when I do the mastering of it, I put it in DSD 11.2. It cannot sound more analog or digital. It's really, let's say I did that in analog, we'll have much more artifact of the tape because the dynamic is way too high for tape. I like tape, but this, it will be kind of impossible to get that sound from analog. The other thing, we use fiber optic from the Nagra streamer to the DAC, so we don't have the noise that usually we get from a server or a streamer. Usually that little noise in the high really get the ears to know it's digital. There's something that is not comfortable in the high frequency. So that fiber optic AT&T between the streamer that have his own power supply, it's a separate ground for the playback of the DAC. And in my studio it was night and day. When I start to have this, it was possible now for me to use digital as a source for LP or for different things. Before that I never did it because it didn't make sense for me to do an LP from something that sounds harsh in the high frequency. So it's with the two power supply, I can have a lot of power of the orchestra.
Yeah, that's the thing, is people sometimes get too wrapped up into formats or one thing, but it really is the whole thing. You have to record it really well like you did. You have to have the right gear. It takes the entire thing to sound like this. So many people don't like classical because it's not recorded all that great, but you're doing it the right way considering everything.
And also, when you use a lot of microphone, usually you have kind of standard cable. Mogami is a good one, but if you compare Mogami to high-end select cable that you tune and you like about, it's night and day. So on the M50, I had cable of $25,000.
Oh wow!
If I change it for Mogami, it's cardboard kind of sound.
Is that right? Okay.
Because you need some length. The length was about 30 feet because the converter was just in front of the conductor. So today it's possible to have just the distance between the mic and the conductor, and that's it. You don't have more cable than this except the Ethernet in Ravana. Long time ago, any recording has close to 100 or 150 feet of cable for each mic. And if you try that between your preamp and your amp at home, you will be like, oh my God.
I think you could fry some amps sometimes when you use, too long.
It really sounds like this. The capacity of the cable and the resistance you destroy its low
Right.
file sound that you hear. So.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You know, when you start getting to 30 feet and more, it puts even more pressure on the quality of the cable because there's so much into the capacitance and other things that could really cause problems. So, yeah, definitely when you're at that length, quality cables matter. So, well, that sounded great. Yeah. Guess we'll do
Send
some.
you if you want to try the track.
Okay.
Can you read DXD or DSD or?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, yeah. That'd be good. Okay, cool. All right, we'll do some more soon. Might need to add a little more volume here. a very listenable sound, just relaxing. Well done. I'll have plenty more.
Yeah. Take a seat. Okay, so, my wife Inga and me, we are from Germany, from the company Ictra Design, and we are engineers, mechanical engineers. I'm working for 35 years for the automotive industry. I worked at the Ford Research Center, University of Aachen in Germany, CTO in a little engineering company, and since 2004 we founded Ictra. We produce Audionecs because it always makes fun to produce nice things for ourselves, to have it in the living room, and so there was no intention at the beginning to make a product out of it. So I always have to do something with my hands. So it's, in theory it's fine, but to be creative it's fun to create something. So that was the intention to start with Ictra in 2004. And a good friend of mine, he was a hi-fi dealer in Germany, in my hometown, and he said, come on, we make a product out of it. So that was the intention, the point where it starts. So this is a small agenda, who we are, who is Ictra, what is the role, what we are doing, some projects, partners and customers, for sure our products, and to explain what are we doing, I would like to show you an example. Here, the physical part is the silencer, and from the lab I made some vibration tests with it. I can show you how it works. We can directly compare what's going in, what's coming out. So at the end, please, during the presentation, feel free to ask me. So who we are, so 2004, we founded Ictra, Inga and me. So we are both mechanical engineers. Inga is she's boss at the foundry, big foundry in Germany. I'm working since 2008 as an engineer on my own. I have another company, and so we love to produce things that have their own character nicely. So, for example, you see here a part of the neck you see over there. I made them red to show you what's going on in the little video. And so we are using so-called we're using CAE methods. That means computational aided engineering. So we use a big computer and powerful software to create structures like this. So it's not the door comes from nothing, so we are not gambling and say, okay, it should look like this. So we start with a simulation. We put the boundary conditions like sound transmission, forces and so on. We put virtually on the part, and you see that something grows. So the solver, the program says, okay, we can take off material here, it's not needed, but we need material at this place. And so you see this ripped structure you see here grows from a simulation. And this is not a perfect solution, but it's a good starting point. So it gives you a confidence of, let's say, 80%. But if you start with nothing, you have to guess. So you have to go in some direction. You say, okay, this could be a approach. No, it doesn't. And so that was the way how people invented or developed things in the past. So by decades of knowledge you have to accumulate in your brain. For sure, we still do this, but you can have a quick starting point if you know how to implement these simulation models into your world. So that's what I want to show. So we do topological optimization, modal analysis, and so on, and put this in all our products. So here you see it's a picture from the lab. You see what's going in, what's coming out. You see one of our racks here. So we knock on the rack. You see it starts to vibrate. We induce a sinus from 0 to 3000 hertz, and we see what happens. So this is going in. The yellow curve and the blue curve here is that what we measure on top of the shelf. So we didn't pull out the plug, so it's still in. But you see that there is a big difference in reducing sound transmission. So in 2008, I already mentioned, I founded another company. It's a very small engineering company. It's called curates. So that's my name, Carsten Tragsdorf Engineering Services. And so I'm doing engineering services for the industry, and I'm still doing this. But we try to give services to the audio industry too. So if somebody wants to create, I'll give you some examples. Anything in the audio, we try to help with simulation and with testing and some new material models. So, two friends of mine, two guys, they joined us. David, he's a professor for numerical simulation at the university. And Thorsten, he's my co-mate. He's helping us to do all that. So, here are some examples we are doing as an engineer for other companies. So, for example, damping platform for Thiele. I don't know, Helmut Thiele is creating turntables. We invented this damping platform, so it helps to prevent sound transmission from the floor into the turntable. So on top, as you can see here, that's the turntable, that's the damping platform, and both components together are reducing sound transmission dramatically. So another thing was for another company, it's called Tedesca, they're located in Berlin. We produced 3D printed titanium body for pickup, and we wanted to simulate something like bone. Because Jon, that's his name, he takes bones from animals and he produces these bodies from bones. But it's very hard to find the right section of the bone. So if you can 3D print, you can make it very reproducible. So one is like another. Another idea was it was only a potential study for a speaker manufacturer to have a damping platform. I don't want to go into detail. So we try to help where problems may occur, or we try to improve the quality of products. So a new project is now, I heard you speaking about flat speakers, written speakers, nobody buys. And so we want to add to the speaker project a very stiff, very stable framing, because there are some problems where you place the speaker. It matters if you bring it to Asia, for example, high humidity, high temperature, or you bring it to Canada, dry condition, or lower temperature, if you put it to a window or a dark side of the room, because the foil inside, it depends dramatically on the condition of the room. Okay. So, this is only some examples for what we are doing on the engineering side, and now the product portfolio. So that's what we are mainly talking about today, and what Nagra and Ictra designers trying to bring to Canada. So we have two lines. This is our entry level. It's the Ito line with the lampstand, the silencer you see here, and in 2 dimensions. this is a table, what it can do, and what all the dimensions, what the pros and cons, and so on.
I love the name of silencer. It sounds like a weapon-related thing. The silencer too.
So we always try to it's not a try. We have to make sure that the products can do this, what we tell the people. Because if we say, okay, this is a dead piece of material, put it under, and it don't work, people are disappointed. So by the way how we work, we can make sure from the beginning that it makes a difference to put something on or not. So this is our reference line, because we only have 2 lines. This is the reference here. In the living room, this is the prototype. In this latest version, the smaller brothers, the medium, and the very big brothers, Keo. So there is a framing made of platting of sheet metal. We bend 250 tons on a machine. So this is made of one piece of material. So we don't make sections and stack them. So it's really one piece. That makes it very stiff in lateral direction, vertical section. So we have very good control of vibration. And so you have a perfect base for preventing sound transmission, because you can mount your shelves with the right approach, with a shelf supports to this very stiff base mount. You see, so some resonators at the right point, they prevent local resonating of the material where it's needed, and so it's a material mix to prevent the transmission of sound through solid state material, because sound would like to transmit through material of one single density. If it hits to another material with another density, a portion of sound will be reflected back into the material, and it works like a filter. So it's an intelligent approach how to mix material, so that we get very low resonance from it, and very few sound transmission. So from all these products, I would show you the silencer, because it's very easy to explain what it's doing. I only lifted up the top plate. Normally you see this support under. This is not part of the product. It's only to present how it looks and what it's doing. So this is the silencer. Same with a lifted top plate. This is the base structure of the silencer. We call it cross-slat. This is we have 4 slats. You can move in X and Y direction, so lateral and in this direction. So this is one example. If you make a cross section through, you see this is like something like a pot, a hollow structure, which is made of natural caoutchouc. And so this is cut. At the beginning, if you have it on the table, the red part, it's like a spring. Like a simple spring you have in
like in a pen.
In a pen, for example, or from technical things in a car, for example. So it's nothing more. But if you close a cavity inside, you have entrant air. There's air inside, like in an air pump. If you use your thumb, you close the hole. And you pump, and you feel that the air inside is compressible, but it can't go out. If you make a little hole in the middle, the air can move out, and if you turn back, if you relax the spring, it can go back. So it's a process of going out, coming in, going out, coming in. But with this little very tiny hole, you damp the function. So at the beginning you have a sinus wave, and with an ideal spring it would go on and on and on over time, so it would never end. You have internal friction, so that prevents that it goes for 100 years. But we want to make the time on the time scale as short as possible, because we have an impulse, for example a tapping sound on the floor, boom. You have a sinus wave, but the time should be as small as possible until the air spring damper is set to 0 back, so that you can bring in another impulse, because music is a continuously process. And so we compressed it on the time axis to 0.4 seconds, so very fast. It makes so the spring is not going on and on. We stop it. So and that's an air spring damper. It's a passive method, and so it has a lot of positive effects because if you have don't want to go into detail, but if you have active systems, they might take off some of the sound you generate in a turntable, for example, because you have a lot of eigenresonances from the platter, from the tone arm, from the chassis, and so on. And if you take off these little eigenresonances, you end up with a dead sound. Could happen. So this is a picture from the test lab. We have a shaker unit. You see the shaker units under. This is a laboratory sample of the silencer, and by a program, by an app, we can induce all variants of sound, of pink noise, white noise, of a sinus wave, of a sweep, whatever you like. We can induce music, an impulse, and the shaker is amplifying the signal to every level we like to have. So, for example, if we play music, we have very, very, very low vibration in the table, but we can amplify it with a factor 1000 or 10,000. So we have a really massive hammering under the table, for example, to make it visible what happens in a solid structure, in a solid material. So I will show you later. So by this, we start to vibrate very massively, like we do in the car. If you put a car in a laboratory, you want to know what the suspension is doing. So you really start to induce high forces, high momentum. And that's what we can do here too. So from that we make an numerical model, and so we call it closed loop optimization. We can couple the model and the test endlessly until the process is finished and we reach an optimum. So this is a photo from the lab. This is the shaker unit. The black section is tied to the table, and the white section can vibrate. On the right side you see different frequencies. We start with 16 Hertz and we end up with around about 100 Hertz. Above it don't make sense because the energy of the signal is going down and down and down. And for the shaker it don't make sense to go to 20,000 Hertz because you have no energy. So I start the movie. You see how it's vibrating, and we go through all these, the range of all these sinus waves. 16 Hertz, you see. So another frequency, and so on and so on. So we always induce for 10 seconds, and then we take another frequency. So, and this on top, this is the silencer. I can start again. And if you compare if you compare the movement of the shaker and the movement of the silencer on top, you see that it don't move. Absolutely not. So the air spring damper below is filtering completely. The red signal is that what going in, the green signal is that what coming out. So we have an accelerometer here, and we have one accelerometer here, and the difference is the efficiency. So that's more or less the last slide. We also want to know what our competitors are doing. So from time to time we take out some products from competitors, and we're doing the same tests with those products. And you see, depending on the frequency, we have an efficiency of 5, 16, 7, 6%, and the silencer is around about, let's say, 95 to 98%. So over the complete range of sound on the right side. Yeah. So, thank you very much. I hope it's not too theoretical, but if you don't tell some or show some explanation from the lab without measurements, without the strategy we follow, people always say, "Oh, come on."
So nice to see the video with the
shaker.
Yeah. So what is the price of the silencer?
Really, to be honest, for Canada, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, US or whatever.
I don't know.
Euro?
Euro, it's... What is it? Do you know this? The current price? Dragan, he knows.
Okay.
Can you please ask him? Because I don't want to say anything.
What weight would this go up to?
So in this status, the maximum weight is 120 kilograms.
120? Okay.
But we can swap the air spring dampers to lower or higher potential, and then I would say maximum is 140 to 150 kilograms.
So you could put a subwoofer on that?
I wouldn't do it.
Why not?
I wouldn't do it. Because the subwoofer is producing very low frequencies.
Okay.
And it could hit a multiplied eigenfrequency of the silencer. So the silencer has an eigenfrequency of 5 Hertz vertical, 6 Hertz lateral. We need your pricing. The pricing for the silencer.
Silencer?
$45.
45, okay.
Shipping for free.
It's around 10,000.
So that's a really good Black Friday deal, 45, yeah. So you were saying for a sub, no?
Yes. So what we did, so that was an example. Back. So this one.
Okay.
We had there was a question. It was not an issue. There was a question. We have a panel speaker which is mounted to a very solid plate on the ground, and the plate is stable, standing stable on the ground. But if you have 2 points on this platform, the speaker can move.
Yeah.
In this direction. And that means if you push air, you start to move air. If the speaker starts, you have a deep frequency of the lowest possible is maybe 20 Hertz, let's say 20 Hertz. And the speaker is moving a lot of air in front of it. So it induces pressure to the surrounding air. That means the speaker is moving a very little bit backwards into the opposite direction. That means you might lose energy. So, because the speaker is not standing stable at its place, and if you move a very little bit away, you always lose compression energy in front of the speaker. So that's the reason why a cabinet speaker can properly make more air pressure with less, so it depends on different other things, but if it's standing stable in the air, it can compress the air more efficient than such an air speaker. One of the questions was, would it be okay to make a support on the rear side to stabilize it? We don't want to have it, so we produced. Destroying your movement.
It's okay. I'll probably have to cut this out, but it's okay.
Okay.
I can at least explain it, yeah.
So the question was, can we prevent the support on the rear side? And we engineered, it's not read in natural, I only made it in with Photoshop. So this is the silencer below this speaker, and the silencer must have a very specific eigenfrequency, which is not 2 times, 4 times, 8 times the eigenfrequency of the speaker. If this happens, you can induce 2 sinus waves, one of the silencer, one of the speaker. And if they hit at the same time, you have a multiplication of both eigenfrequencies, or an addition of both. So you get a disaster of 2 eigenfrequencies. You sum up both eigenfrequencies, and the speaker is not doing this, the speaker is doing this. So the aim was to create an eigenfrequency of the red part, which is chaotic in terms of we never hit the eigenfrequency of the speaker. So it's, let's say this is 10, we have this of 3.17658. We never hit the eigenfrequency of the speaker. So that stabilizes the frequency of the speaker. So the speaker now don't move it. It's absolutely stable at its position. And if you put, now to come back to your question, if you put the subwoofer on top, and both components, the silencer and the subwoofer, have some common eigenresonances, you can end up with summarizing both eigenresonances, and you have something like so you don't have a clean punch of the speaker. You get something chaotic out of it. And so you really have to think about what you're doing if you combine a silencer, which take or add or multiply energies.
You would have to modify it for the purpose, is what you're kind of saying.
So, but
and this is more meant for turntables, electronics.
Electronics.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is totally made, perfectly made for turntable, for a tube amp, for example, but also for
Just about anything.
all electronic components.
Okay, so not speakers, yeah. But you could make, in theory, a subwoofer stand, same technology.
We can. So, but you think about sound transmission into the stage below, so that you don't want to harm your neighbors.
Right.
But that would cost energy of the subwoofer. So to get the same loudness of the subwoofer, you have to use more energy over the amp. So it's a deal between energy, induced energy, and what's coming out of compression of it.
Right. But you could measure what reduction you get,
We can do it.
and usually it would be less than a dB, I would think. Yeah.
There are some solutions on the market. I think there is a Canadian company. They have this. It's a ring solution, and they have some rubber bands inside. They have 4 posts, and the ring is the table you can put. I don't remember the name. So that's very efficient. They are doing this for sound stages. If you have a stage,
Okay.
you have a band,
Okay.
and you want to keep the stage free of
Resonances, yeah.
you put these things under.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter what's the result of sound, because the sound is coming from the speakers 10 meters away. So if the drum kit is hit, you don't hear the speaker. But if you put the speaker in, then you change sound.
Interesting.
In the world, people are more critical than guests on a show or a concert.
Interesting.
So, but that's possible, sure. You can do, but you have to define the goal of that.
Yeah.
Which should come out.
What the natural resonance of that speaker is, and then the weight, and then develop it from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's better to do these contract OEM type work per product because it's more customized.
So that was only a potential step.
Okay.
So the customer, he made a complete redesign, which was at the end more efficient than to implement such a silencer, because if you have a poor starting point, like poor eyes, and you use some Googles.
Yes,
so
that can make a difference.
take
Yeah.
new eyes,
Yeah.
if possible. And so that the outcome was much more positive than using this. But we learned a lot from this. And that was the aim, to create a new system which is much better than the old system.
Gotcha.
The customer really succeeded. It's a fantastic product.
Interesting.
Absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you. This was very good. I appreciate that walkthrough.
Thank you for your attention.
Your presentation